Hi, and welcome to another narrative presented by yours truly, Cryptids Roost. If you enjoy this and the other stories, please be so kind as to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. This will help with the YouTube's algorithm and will promote the channel more. Now, even though I'm not yet monetized by YouTube, I have created some awesome merch for you guys. So please be so kind as to visit www.redbubble.com/people/cryptids-roost and grab yourself a t-shirt, mug, wall clock, duvet cover, or whatever else grabs your fancy. The link will be in the description. Also, if you would like an honourable mention, take a snapshot of yourself along with your merch and I'll feature it in one of the videos. Oh, and thank you all for helping us reach the first milestone of 100 subscribers. The next milestone is 500. I'm sure we can do it. Oh, and don't forget to leave a comment on the videos. Maybe tell us how you would handle the upcoming situations. So grab your coffee, sit back and enjoy the show. A Guide from a Monster Hunter, Part 5. This brilliant series is written by Reddit user SoLonely200. Hey everyone, Ulysses here. An update on my life and the situation I found myself in. The team that entered those woods in order to hunt the crier, they didn't come back out. At least not all of them. Satan is showing up in my dreams now. They keep hinting at something bigger at work. I'm not sure what Old Scratch is getting at. I'm in a motel in bumblefuck nowhere. It reminds me of home, honestly. I haven't heard from the bosses in 3 days. I have a hunch that something is in the area, but since I haven't any new updates for you folks, I figured I'd share a story. So after thinking about it, I figured I'd tell you the story of my first encounter with the Men in Black and the West Virginian Mothman. I had heard some stuff about the Mothman in the old ordnance works near Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Figured it was worth looking into, so I set out one night to the site. As I got closer to it, in my beat-up truck, a black Cadillac with tinted windows began following me, a few hundred feet behind me. I ignored it mostly, but when I stopped at a point I judged suitable to hike the rest of the way, so did it. 2 men in black suits stepped out of the car. They had on fedoras and pitch black sunglasses. They were taller than me, about 6'6" each. Their skin was pale, almost see-through. Their lips were completely void of colour. "Excuse me, sir, this is a restricted area," one said in an emotionless voice. The other nodded, grabbing my arm. I shook it loose and said, "I work for the government," spitting the wad of tobacco in my jaw. The man who grabbed my hand was cold and a little slimy. "This is a restricted area," he repeated, stepping towards me. He got a little too close for comfort and grabbed me roughly. I responded with a punch right to his jaw. It hurt me more than him. Felt like punching a wall. I knocked off his glasses though, and hat. His head was devoid of any hair, and his eyes were hollowed sockets with little red beady pupils. They had a faint glow in the night, like lightning bugs. He said in unison with the other man, who stepped closer as well, "You are trespassing on government property. Leave. Now." He shoved me into my truck, leaving a small dent in his wake. I took my revolver from my side and put it in his face. "I don't know who the hell you are, but you have about 5 seconds to back off before I put a bullet between those beady eyes of yours." That was when the thing smiled, an inhumanely wide one. It got closer and I followed up on my threat. I put a bullet between its eyes, but it just sat up like a fucking Michael Myers. The other grabbed the gun and bent the barrel like a fucking cartoon. It pushed me down with enough force that I felt a rib crack. I quickly got in my truck and locked the door. They began rattling the handle, and I knew they'd get in eventually. That's when I remembered my machete. Ever since I got lost in the bayou a few years back, I kept a machete in a pocket on the roof of my truck. I grabbed the blade and opened the door with enough force to knock them both down. One of them stood, and I quickly cut that fucker's head off. The other cocked its head and spoke. "This isn't over, Ulysses. Good evening." He turned and went back to his car, stopping only to retrieve his sunglasses. Breathing a sigh of relief, I got back onto my original task. The dudes in dark had almost made me forget why I was out here. On a bad leg from the run-in with the men, I hiked through the woods to what the locals called the TNT area. Placing some snares with the aid of a flashlight, I looked around in the trees. If the Mothman is here, figures he'd lurk in the trees. As I looked around, I noticed a pair of bright red orbs in a tree. Shining my light in their direction, they quickly vanished, as I heard the rustling of leaves like something moving through them. I heard something get snagged in my snare. I ran to the trap, but found whatever was trapped had been cut free. I felt an overwhelming wave of nausea, and saw the red orbs again. I shined my light up, and before I collapsed, I saw the Mothman. It was as upside down like a bat. It had a head like, well, a moth, and it had bat-like wings, about 8 feet across. It looked 6, maybe 7 feet tall. I was really getting weak as the nausea worsened. I got to my feet and drew my knife. The Mothman responded by flying off. Next thing I knew, I was being grabbed and pulled into the air. It had feet like a cat, sorta. It had claws like a bird, but they weren't talons. It was similar to, as I said, a cat. I was 20 feet in the air at this point, and against my better judgment, in all honesty, I managed to stab its leg. It dropped me, screeching in pain, so trees broke my fall, but it didn't stop me getting a broken arm and a few cracked ribs. I blacked out on impact as well. I was woken the next morning by a paramedic. A hiker had found me and called for help. I never found the Mothman again, no matter how hard I looked. The men in black now are a lot less civil towards me, and I still have scars from where Mothman grabbed me. I'm not quite sure what to do about him. I'm writing this a few hours after the last paragraph. Speak of the devil, as I was writing, there was a knock at my door. I saw the familiar black sunglasses and suits. "Hello, Mr. Ulysses. We work for the Federal Bureau of..." "Cut the shit, I know what you are. Now why are you here?" The leader of the duo of men in black removed his sunglasses, revealing those beady red eyes. "You're a clever one." I pulled a cigarette out of a pack of Marlboros and gestured as to offer him one. "No it's thanks." "Yes, of course," he smiled politely. "Normally you guys are trying to kill me. Can we wrap this up?" I said, impatient as I lit the cigarette. His smile wavered, and he continued. "We are here to tell you to forget what you saw in those woods." "The crier?" "Indeed. Forget you saw it." I avoided eye contact with the pale bastard as I exhaled smoke. "And why would I do that?" "You wouldn't want it to find your mother now, would you?" This made me pause. "Is that a threat?" "It's not anything, Ulysses. Do not investigate it. That's our jurisdiction, not yours." I slammed the door in his face. Why were they trying to shut me up about the crier? I had no intentions to tell anyone, but that's not the point. It's confusing to say the least. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Ulysses out. Edit. This site has a bad habit of deleting comments before I have a chance to respond. If you have any questions about my encounters, message them to me. Wow, what an epic episode! If you enjoyed listening to this narrative, be sure to pop over to the author's Reddit profile. So Lonely 200 and drop them a line or even give them a glowing review. The link to their Reddit profile will be below in the description. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoyed my narration, then please feel free to like and share the video, leave a comment below, maybe tell us how you would handle these situations, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. Even though I am not yet monetized by YouTube, I have created some awesome merch for you guys. So please be so kind as to visit www.redbubble.com/people/cryptids-roost and grab yourself a t-shirt, mug, wall clock, or even a duvet cover, or whatever else grabs your fancy. The link is in the description. If you would like to have an honourable mention, take a snapshot of yourself with your item and I'll feature it in one of the videos. Have you had a cryptid sighting, paranormal or supernatural encounter, or even had a creepy or terrifying situation you would like to share? Or have you written a CreepyPasta story you would like me to narrate for you? You can submit your stories to cryptidsroost@gmail.com, and if you wish to remain anonymous, that's fine with me. Now I also have a Twitter, Reddit, Discord, and a Facebook group, and if you would like to support this channel and help make it grow, my PayPal is paypal.me/Cryptids Roost. Again, that will also be below. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not.